everybody, and welcome to the Sunny 16 podcast. And tonight is an extravaganza. It's a festival of photography. It is a shining example of how visual media crosses the audio barrier. Anyway, my name's Ade. Hi. We have got a bunch of stuff here and a bunch of people here, and it's going to be a fantastic conversation today. So first of all, I would like to say hello to John. How you doing, John?
Hello, I'm all good. I've just suddenly realised as soon as we started recording, it put everyone's faces out of alignment on the video, so I'm tweaking those at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, it's good.
But that's cool. I can multitask. That's fine.
It's a live production. It's a good. It's a good thing, right? So, but maybe we better move on. Not ask you to tell us a long history of your last week or so, if you're doing technical things in the background to make me look even better than I would do naturally. So let's move on to somebody who looks good naturally anyway. Hey, Graeme, how are you?
Wow, I was not expecting you to come to me then. Nobody was expecting that. I am good, thank you, Ade. Yeah, I'm obviously delighted that we're doing a video show tonight because I am looking so elegant. I think my hair might be nearly the longest here now. Claire's just got me beat up, but it's getting close now. But yeah, it's grand to be here, and as has been given away by the fact that John's having to do on-the-fly editing, this is a video show this evening as well, so that's always harrowing.
For reasons that will become clear momentarily, if you bear with us, listeners and viewers, although the viewers might know already. Anyway, and last and definitely not least of the co-hosts this evening. Hey, Claire, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Ade. And as always, nice to be here. And it's nice to see Tina again.
Tina who? We haven't introduced her yet.
I want to say...
Have I spoiled it? Sorry.
No. But go ahead and complete the introduction, though, Claire.
Okay, so tonight's show is our Cheap Shots Challenge, which was about, well, I kept calling it Rewind. It was Rewind, wasn't it?
No.
Really?
Recline. It was Recline. But I kept calling it Rewind, but Rewind, Recline, it's similar.
No, not Recline either, Claire. No.
A really fabulous guest who's been on before, Tina Rowe.
Yeah.
Really nice to see you again.
Hello.
Hey, Tina, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. Welcome to our professional media empire as our super special guest, and not only that, but the judge of the Cheap Shots Challenge, which is...
Ooh.
Oh, look at that! Even a siren. That's definitely something important.
Who added that sound effect?
I did all this for you. I organised it.
It's fantastic. We're very glad to see you. Very glad to have you with us again. It's been too long. So, Cheap Shots Challenge this week, folks. And it's going to be a good one. Definitely. As soon as we figure out which of the many words we used as a theme.
Rewind, recline.
Just to clarify, the subject was unwind, not rewind, not recline, or words to that effect. It was unwind. Suggested, I think, by Rachel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can unwind and recline at the same time. Fortunately, that all works very well.
The two are not mutually exclusive.
No, absolutely not. In fact, I would say that they are almost whatever the opposite of mutually exclusive is. They go hand in hand. If you're reclining, then you're frequently unwinding if you're lucky. So that's
Graeme, this challenge has been a long time in the making. Do you know that? Because when it was originally set, I hadn't been to Barcelona, which I went in July, and I was actually thinking of buying an inflatable something to do a picture there. So it's been a long time, hasn't it?
That is quite a long time. If that was back in July and it's now the middle of October.
We must have set it in June.
Yeah, listen, we wanted to be as generous as possible with people, mostly us, getting their entries in. And we've got some great entries as well this week.
And we wouldn't have wanted everybody to get stressed, given that the theme is unwind. I mean, if like over the summer, you want to relax, don't you? So,
absolutely. And the fact that we told them the deadline ended a month ago and they all rushed to that deadline, and then we've taken another month. And I think, Ade, you took your pictures last night, was it, Ade?
Some today, actually, as well.
Oh, some today.
But it's that's the magic of instant film, you see. So
That's very true. Very true. Before we get into the judging, Tina, as always, we need to catch up with what you've been doing, because it's always a very mixed bag of various sorts of crazy. I always love. Everyone should follow Tina on Instagram, because you just never know what's going to pop up next. And I'm enjoying seeing you've had a few pictures lately of people just out in the wild, seeing your sort of guerrilla art galleries around the place, because you've got your tiles and stuff up, which is great. That's been going on. What was it you said you're doing? Prints on fabric with using liquid emulsion, and of course your movie. So go on, fill us in a bit on what the last few months have been.
Well, you just told everyone.
Moving swiftly on then.
Yeah. I was given a residency. I went on a residency in July to a place called Walton-on-the-Naze, which is in Essex.
Mhm.
And it's a really nice, lovely little town that's got a kind of, it's not a marina, but there's an area where there's lots of sort of leisure boats, not great big super yachts or anything, normal people boats. And then there's a proper bucket and sand, sandy, beautiful beach. There's a huge pier with a fabulous fairground on the pier. Oh my God, it's so good. And then there's also this beautiful, lots and lots of really beautiful countryside to walk in, and there's a great big tower there as well, which is amazing. And I thought what I was going to do when I was going to go there for the residency was just sit on the beach, take my camera, and stop people and ask them, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What brings you here? And take their portrait, and probably print them on something weird that we found on the beach as well, and then send them that. And that's what I thought I was going to do. But for some reason, as I was driving down, I thought, yeah, maybe what you want to do is to buy a wedding dress and cover it with cyanotype chemistry, and then expose shells on it, and then jump into the sea and develop it. And that one stuck. It was really weird. So the first part of my residency was a wild goose chase looking for a wedding dress that I was prepared to pay for, because they wanted quite a lot of money for them. And I eventually found something, and we tested it. It worked all right, but the cyanotype slid off really quickly. And then I said, right, now I need to film this. So I had to go and buy another wedding dress. And I thought I would be back the next week. I just thought, this is going to be easy. How difficult can it be to buy a wedding dress in London? There must be. Well, it wasn't hard to buy a wedding dress. I got one off eBay, a beautiful handmade dress from 1965, long sleeves, beautiful bodice, lovely train thing at the back of it. And then the weather happened. In case you didn't, August was terrible, wasn't it? And I was like, I want to go and cover my dress in cyanotype chemistry. And in the end, we didn't have a decent day until the 7th of September. So on the 7th of September, standing on this beach, putting on this wedding dress, walking into the water, and my friend filmed it on his iPhone. Oops, sorry. And then when we came out of the sea, my friend started telling me about, in Brazil, they have this character called Yamina, I think, and that she sort of appears in a lot of South American folk lore and also in religious things. But I discovered that her day is actually on the 7th of September. So
right.
I came out of the sea dressed all blue like she does, and it was on the right day. Yay!
Cool.
Excellent.
And it worked really well. So the movie that you made, short film, is out now, isn't it? It's on Vimeo. We'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
It's on Vimeo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it on Vimeo in particular? I'm intrigued by these sort of these.
Yeah, Vimeo doesn't have the adverts that you get on YouTube, because you have to pay to use Vimeo. You've also got a lot of options with Vimeo that mean that you can have a very high quality video on there. So if you want to present work, particularly artists, quite often if you're submitting stuff to festivals and I don't know, galleries and stuff, you can submit quite a large file on Vimeo if you pay them. Whereas YouTube, you're going to get a bigger audience, but you're also you might end up next to an advertisement for something unpleasant.
But we can actually see, and I'm looking at it right now, because we can actually see the video, of course, on your website as well.
Yes,
which is tinarowe.co.uk.
Yeah, it's on there.
So,
and there's a bit of an explanation about the story behind it, but it was mainly just about, I wonder what will happen if I do that. And there's also a lot of conversation about sustainable darkrooms and about chemistry and how toxic that is. And I did some maths about how toxic it would be to put to wash the cyanotype in the sea, and it was beyond homeopathic in the amount that was in there. But I was also thinking about introducing chemicals into the sea as well. But mainly I just wanted to, I don't know, I just thought it would look spectacular.
It's a good job it was beyond homeopathic, because you were very much wearing the mask. So if it was going to be remotely toxic, that was right on you. Was it harder to wash the chemicals out than you thought it was? Because it seems like you can't go anywhere. I had to swim about a bit in here to get this stuff cleaned off.
No, that was just so Marcelo would film me sort of splashing around in the water, really. I mean, it takes a little while for it to develop. I think we filmed for about 15 minutes, but it was all in slow motion. We made sure we filmed it all in slow motion. So, yeah, there wasn't much contact with me, but I think it took about 5 minutes for the colour to change properly in the water.
Did the salt water make any difference at all?
No.
No?
No, I was kind of hoping it might make a different colour shift, but no.
Like, what are you doing with the wedding dress now? I mean, getting married, I assume. Again, you've got a wedding dress. It's a sort of...
It's hanging up in my studio, but 2 weeks ago it was hanging up in an exhibition in the yard. So we had it actually in this place where my studio is. It was just sort of hanging above everyone's heads, and we were projecting films, and we had music, and we had lots of other people's work up as well.
You had an exhibition with all sorts of stuff, and you didn't just wear it.
No, I wanted it hanging up. It's a massive train. I can't be stomping. I have to say, the weather was atrocious. It absolutely weed down all weekend, and I would have just been soaking wet again. Yeah. But anyway, no.
That's that you would have been an installation of your own artwork.
I would have been a very cold, very wet, very angry, very grumpy. And
you have to suffer for your art, Tina. I mean, I don't know. I feel
no. You're supposed to suffer.
Suffer from your art.
That's why I do it.
Dear.
Other than that, the portrait work on various different mediums, that still seems to be very much where your focus is at the moment. I really am enjoying the stuff that you've had on your sort of, like I said, guerrilla art galleries out in the wild. These brilliant pictures on, is it mostly tiles and stuff like that? It looks like the
yeah, because I did the tests where the plates are all done on tiles. So then I just had a studio full of tiles, and I just thought, if Banksy can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And I just, the guy who's on the picture, the picture I posted yesterday is actually the fella whose picture is on the wall. So I was going for a sort of Inception thing.
It's very cool. I think it's just such a fun idea. And has the stuff stayed where it's been put for the most part?
Well, it's quite funny. On the one on the wall yesterday, somebody had written twit down the side.
Wow.
I think it's
Twits.
about mask. I think it was for mask wearing. Yeah, I was surprised they didn't write something a bit rude about it. That's a twit. Other one I've seen half of it has been peeled off. So I think somebody stuck a sticker on it and pulled the sticker off.
Mm-hmm.
And what? Oh, you might not want to keep this. One of them, there's some by the canal, and I put it quite low, and I think actually people have been peeing on it because it's so bleached in a pattern, and it is like so maybe cut that bit out.
No, that's alternative processing.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a little more alternative than I would like, but yes. So
That's awesome. That's great.
yeah, they're fun though. Thank
So
you.
you've had a look at the pictures that our listener sent in. What do you think of them? Quick overview of them.
I like them. I like the ones. I particularly like the fact that there was more than one picture by different people. I've lost my link. Hang on, where's the link to the pictures? Sorry, but there are some lovely colour ones.
Tina.
Hey,
this is where we lose you as you try to find the pictures.
I know I can't find. I had them up. Oh God, I'm so sorry. There were some really lovely colour ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice to see the use of colour. There's one really rather fetching sofa. Well, it's not a sofa, it's like a seat in this little garden. There's a lovely pink on that one, and it came just after another pink one with a picture of Venice. So there's some really nice things on there.
Do you find, because you mostly work in black and white for all your liquid emotion stuff, are you quite drawn to colour when you see it, Tina, because of that? Because it's not a frequent part of your workflow?
Oh, I do use colour a fair amount, probably because you see a lot of liquid emulsion stuff. There's other stuff that I don't know. With the pinhole, I use colour. So no, I really like colour. I particularly like colour that's done on slide film. So because my husband came into the moving things around.
Let's find out who you're getting married to next.
Sorry about that.
Have dressed, will marry.
He's gone now.
Well, shall we start going through these pictures then? Through our fabulous slideshow of pictures. John, do you want to bring up? There you go. So these are, hang on a second. Somewhere in here, we've got the information about who these are. So this first one, because a lot of people submitted two pictures. These first two are from Bear Brown, Professor Bear Brown. So I'm just going to quickly read through this email because this is one we didn't talk about previously on the podcast. So this first image, which is the one we're looking at now, Clonk, is a picture of wife and nieces as they ventured out of the house early this summer to see if the geese were visiting our local pond. We like to take a walk in the evenings after the sun starts to go down because we like to think it's cooler here in coastal Georgia. But who are we kidding? Unwinding from a full day of online interaction. And this is shot on Arista 400. I love this picture. But when I look at that picture, it doesn't speak to me of unwinding. It fills me with kind of quiet dread in some ways. It feels slightly, just the way they're all there with their backs to us, just looking out. It feels slightly like a still from an old black and white horror film.
Yeah, so they've either recently pushed somebody in there or somebody's about to be pushed in there.
What do you think of it, Tina?
It looked to me, I thought that they were waiting for somebody to show up because I didn't see any text at all.
Like
it looks
Godzilla rising from the deep.
Well, I must admit, I'm probably a little bit less horror inclined. Just think maybe somebody's. It looks like there's something really interesting happening just beyond.
Somebody in a wedding dress floating around.
Yeah, somebody in a wedding dress. A blue woman emerging from the water. No, but it does. But it just looks. It looks like there's something really interesting going on. But I didn't think of it as being threatening.
I think not threatening, but it's just sort of the apparent intensity of the attention that's being paid to this water, despite a clear absence of any geese. At least there's no geese in the picture. Maybe if you stare hard enough. Can you see any geese in there, John? No.
I can imagine with this one though that it's the story of a parent mentally unwinding, right, or maybe unraveling, and there's a strong internal debate of whether to pull the children back from the edge of the water, or to just push them in.
Yeah.
And that for me embodies the struggle that every parent goes through every day.
True that. Okay, the second picture from Bear Brown is of a chair that is located behind a shopping centre. It has been there for months, and at first I thought someone had simply dumped it, which is a fair assumption. But every once in a while, someone would add something: a footstool, a beach umbrella, more chairs. This day it was simply a bottle of soda and a pillow. If that didn't suggest unwinding. And that was shot on Lomography 400 colour, and both of these were actually shot with the Lomography Constructor, which I think bonus points for getting good images out of an undeniable piece of crap. The Lomography Constructor. I mean, admittedly, I built my Lomography Constructor, so maybe that's why it was a piece of crap.
They look like coffins.
They do a bit, don't they? Yeah, I hadn't thought that. They do like little yeah.
I love
children's coffins.
See now who's going scary.
Yeah.
I just love that this living room scene is slowly expanding though. I mean, start off with a chair and then you got side tables. Like, where's it going to end?
That's
great.
cool. I like that. Yeah. Yes.
I like it. It looks like
I really sorry.
What are you gonna say, Claire?
I said I like it. It looks like my type of a set.
Yeah, it would work. It definitely would work for you, wouldn't it, Claire? Yeah.
And I like Lomography 400 as well, and so I quite like the hues of the film as well. But yeah, I like it. It's my type of set. And the first image, Graeme, with you, I kind of especially the two girls. I was thinking it's kind of like a Blair Witch standing.
Yeah, I think it probably says more about us than about them.
Yeah.
It's a special show about the joy of photography and the happy feelings that photography can bring into people's lives this week, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I like it. I like them both. I like that scene, the set. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, next picture. These next two are both from Phil Goff. I think we've spoken about these in the podcast before, but just to go again, these were shot on a Casina CT4, which I hope it counts the cheap shots camera, as it was a freebie and has the glorious bonuses of a back that opens partially every now and again, and a film advance that ensures that there will always be some frames completely overlapped without rhyme or reason. That's what you want from a good cheap shots challenge camera. So this first one is at the tail end of a load of paddle boards.
Paddle boards.
I think they're paddle boards. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, paddle boards. It says so. With their fins all poking up. I love that because I just love the row of shark fins in that. There's something about the real darkness, the blackness of those fins that I find very appealing. Maybe that's just me. Like many Jawses.
They are a bit, aren't they? I mean, it's definitely like mini sharks, baby sharks. Maybe this is the baby shark photograph.
What do you think, Tina, with this one? It's a good composition. I like the angle it's from.
Yeah, it's a nice composition, but I think I like his other one a little bit better.
Okay, let's look at the other one then.
Oh.
Come on, John.
Second one is of two paddle boards.
Yeah.
Upright at the edge of the water.
Yeah, but I like in the clouds. There's those. They're like. Isn't that something paragliding? No,
they're kites, I think.
They're kites
for kite surfers.
Kite surfing, yeah.
So I think it looks like there's a couple of kite surfers out there on the water somewhere. Can't see them particularly easily, but definitely you can see the kites in the sky, which is interesting shapes.
And I like the sky. I like the clouds as well. I think they're really nice.
This picture does highlight a trap that I fall into with monotonous regularity. because it does suffer from that thing of whenever you've got a body of water, it's on the wonk. But there's not enough room in the frame to straighten that wonk out without clipping out half the paddleboard. I'm always doing that. It's
I think everybody's family has somebody that's famous for that. I think if you're the one in your family, in my family, it was my dad. He was always the one who was famous for getting his horizon lines on skew-if. So yeah, there are definitely lots of holiday photos. So this kind of like fond memories of holiday photos for me, because our holiday photos were always shot at an angle, accidentally at an angle.
Like after a while, did you start compensating in the photos by leaning the other way?
Only once I was old enough to drink.
I'm just having a look and see what film this was shot on, because obviously the processing is also a significant part of it, but they're quite, like, considering it looks like a nice, bright, sunny day, but they're quite moody pictures, both of them, aren't they? There's quite a lot of atmosphere for shots that were taken on a bright, sunny day.
I don't think it says in the show notes that we have. I don't think it says what film it was.
No, good stuff though. Okay, next picture is from our friend Alex Purcell, and it's a lovely picture of his daughter playing on a swing. Again, I feel like Alex should get bonus points for the fact that he shot this on a Zenit, but suffering through that on Foam 100. What do you guys think of this one?
She's not just on the swing. She's done that thing where you wind up the chains so that and then let yourself go and spin round, which is always fun.
I mean, it's a literal unwinding.
It is. That's a really good point. It is literally unwinding. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
It meets the brief.
Yeah. It's the look on her face that I really enjoy. You can just see enough of her face that it's caught at the right moment to just see that the thrill of it all going on. It's great.
Yeah, and the blur of movement as well. Yeah, so you clearly you can see what's going on, and there's movement in it too. I like that.
I like the movement.
It's a very accomplished photo, I think. Very, very good, Alex.
Yeah,
I like it. Sorry.
No, go for it, Tina. You're here to judge him.
I just think it's lovely. It reminds me of school holidays when I was a kid. It's just lovely, because I would have done that. Surprise.
And as you mentioned, like the movement in there, I think is so nice, because if that had been a static frozen image, it would still have been a nice picture, but getting the movement in there just conveys the energy of that experience of just going way round and round and round. I think it's really additive. It's kind of, it's more than sharp enough to see the expression and see the joy, but just that movement there, I think, is very good.
Did Alex send through any of the frames where like her back?
He missed it completely.
Yeah.
No, that I suspect is the other 35 frames on the roll. But he didn't confess up to that. We're all here saying, "Oh, good work, Alex," and he's actually burnt through so many.
That's okay. That's all right. You get the result, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, who's up next? Okay, this next one is from Kier Fry. I'm going to go with that. With apologies if I've mispronounced one or indeed both of those names. Again, I'm not sure we talked about this one. So Kier shot this on an Agfa Clack, which is a medium format 6x9 box camera, or that has some brief resemblance to a camera while lacking most of the features normally associated. It's got 3 choices of aperture between 10.5 and 13.5, and the shutter speed choice is 1/30th and bulb, so it's quite limited. And these pictures were taken whilst on an overnight camping trip he took with some members of his World War II Soviet reenactment group, which is that's
that
niche.
Explains it.
Yes, exactly. He says, while we've been spared the worst of COVID here in Australia, we've seen most large events cancelled, including the Living History festivals we would normally attend. So it's been a great way to get out and unwind doing stuff like this.
God, it's a lesson in military history, this as well. I was unaware that Soviet Russia had invaded Australia.
Yeah, there you go. The more you learn, the less talked about. So the first shot is of the sleeping arrangements for the night, trying to harness the sunlight through the trees, only partially succeeded, if that lens flare can be called success. But I think the mix of sharp and blurred focus evoke the mix of cozy and uncomfortable that typifies sleeping in this kind of shelter.
Are they sleeping outdoors on the ground in Australia? That strikes me as being quite potentially deadly. Clearly, they must know. They must know their stuff. They must know their stuff if they're camping outdoors. And that doesn't look like a tent in that photo. That's like some sort of bivouac, isn't it? They've made just with a bit of tarp or something, by the looks of it. So, well done, everybody, for surviving till breakfast.
It's a very rustic encampment, yes, with a nice bit of light leak kind of in the middle there.
Quite magical.
Yeah, it works really well, I think, actually. It's good.
It's making me I like the light in this and the setting, and it's actually, I can link this and the previous two pictures because it's making me with the right weather or the right climate, I'd really like to do outdoor camping, some outdoor camping, and then wake up and go paddleboarding and finish with a swing. And I actually know the ideal place to do that on the island.
Finish with a swing.
Yeah. You're never too old for a swing. I love swings. Yeah, so I can, and I know a place on the island where you could do that. You could camp and then you could go paddleboarding and then you could finish with a swing, all in the same location.
Very good.
Noted swinger Clare Marie-Bailey. Also,
I'm definitely booking my next holiday to Anglesey.
It's got everything.
It's got everything.
I'm going to say that you can be too old for a swing, because I'm pretty sure the last time I went on a swing, I thought, oh no, I feel awful. I need to get off this. I am too old for this. It's making me feel so sick. So,
you sure that wasn't the roundabout swing? You must have been on a swing, surely.
No, I think both of them are pretty bad. What I love about this picture, what is that this picture? If I saw this picture and somebody said to me, "Oh, this was taken during World War II," you go, yeah, okay, 100% believe that, because the cameras, I'm not sure it's completely era appropriate, but it's pretty darn close, and it's given a look that feels like the kind of thing you see from that time, from just snapshots that were taken, and obviously the camp also looks. That's good. It's good. Okay,
good
and
point.
the second picture of my traveling companions enjoying a meal together. I like this shot more for the memory it recalls rather than any particular photographic excellence, but it's from one of my favorite images from the weekend. So yes, these fine gentlemen sitting around eating probably something terrible, spam, right? I don't
know. Maybe. I think it's cool. I like it. It works well for me.
Which is your favorite of these two, Tina? Oh, sorry, John.
I was going to say I like this photo because normally when you take photos of people eating, they end up being something that should never be released. But this one's all right, actually. It's no one's got their mouth open. There's no food on display. So yeah, good work.
So sorry, what do you think of these two, Tina?
To be honest, when I first saw them, I thought they were old photos. I was a bit bamboozled by them. I think they're really they're quite amazing. They really are very evocative, aren't they? And I would never have put them as being in Australia either. So,
no, definitely not.
Yeah.
It's those cameras, like the old 6x9 box cameras and the old 6x9 folders. Those can be such a good, cheap way of having fun because they're pretty ubiquitous, and they never. I mean, you can buy some high-end folding cameras that people will pay quite a lot of money for, but certainly with the box cameras, you can still pick those up for next to no money, and you might not want to blow the prints up big because they were never built with the idea of enlarging the negatives for. They were built for more with the idea of making contact prints, little postcard prints, but it's still a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I've got quite a few box cameras around, and good
nice.
times to be had with those. Okay, what's up next? Oop, it is Alex Morrison. Oh, Claire's got a swing. More swings.
These look like those fairground swings, aren't they? What do they call them? There's a word for those.
Swing boat? No. Swing chairs. Swing chairs?
Swing chairs, yes.
Swing chairs? All right, okay.
I've been on them. I love them.
Of course, it's just a swing.
I love them too, yeah.
This was shot on another old box camera, a Kodak Hawkeye, which is another 6x9 box camera from 1935. It was Alex's grandfather-in-law's. It sounds like it's not been kept in the best conditions, but I think it still pulled some pretty great results out. So this first shot taken because Alex has just come back. Bless him, he's moved back from Las Vegas, where he has been living for the last several years, to Bristol. This is my
very
first
similar
trip.
places.
Very similar. My first trip from my new hometown in Bristol after returning to the UK from overseas, shot on a sunny day. I was confident the shutter speed would be more than fast enough to freeze the action. The delay between pressing the shutter and the camera firing took some getting used to, as did the somewhat non-specific frame lines. But I think this has worked really well. I really do love this first picture. And I think the framing, I love the detail of just the we the curious the bottom right hand side of that.
I like that.
And again, good sky.
I want to know what's in that building. If they've put a sign above the door that says "We the Curious," then I want to know what's in the building. Maybe it's a museum or something, or like a sciencey place or something.
Or maybe he's cut the word George out, and it's just like a building with monkeys in. Maybe it's Be the Curious George, and it's just a shop dedicated to Curious George.
Who knows?
Could be. There's a popular shops in Bristol, I hear.
Yes.
Like M&M World in London, you get Curious George World in Bristol. You've not been? Okay, you definitely should.
Stop now, please.
Okay, interesting. I you can see this lovely band as you look at this picture of lighter exposed image, more exposed image in the middle, and in the darker band to the outsides of it. That's worked very well. It's a fun effect.
It's a feature.
It's a feature, and there's quite a lot of detail in there as well, because it's being a 6x9 neg, even though it's not pin shot, but there's actually a good lot of detail in there. As opposed to his second picture, less detail.
To be fair, Alex does say in his note that this was, I think it shows his inexperience with the camera, is how he puts it.
Yes. So this is a picture of his grandfather's pocket watch. Which we assume it's a picture of his grandfather's pocket watch, because he obviously had very high expectations of how close the focus on the box camera was going to be, and the answer was not this close. So it's nicely out of focus. Very nice bokeh on the chain. That's how you say that word, right?
Yeah, it's yes, it's definitely there. It's definitely a pocket watch, though.
Yes,
you could.
I think he's trying to go be smart again, because again it's a watch, so unwinding.
Yeah. There's no points deductive for interpreting the theme literally.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all concept artists.
Well, I mean, you say that, but Tina, are you going to deduct points for? I mean, you're the judge. Would you deduct points for interpreting the theme literally?
No, absolutely not.
What do you think of those two then? Which is your favourite out of those two?
Oh, it's got to be the swing chairs. So I love the swing chairs. Nothing I like more than sitting on a swing chair with my pinhole.
Yeah.
I mean, like people. Sorry, I don't know what that was. People take photos quite often of fairground machines from tripods, but I like being on fairground machines with my pinhole. So I like the other one.
Alrighty.
In a wedding dress.
in a wedding
Covered in
dress.
tentacles.
Yeah.
You're not going to
needs to be
let
the
that
next
one
thing.
lie, are you? Okay.
You need to be on there in a wedding dress with people hosing you down as you whip past to wash the wedding dress. That'd be good. Okay.
I'm going to do that right now.
Okay, next up we've got Billy Sanford's barbecue. So what? I don't know, what did Billy shoot this on? Oh yes, his Vivitar point and shoot, Vivitar Series 1 point and shoot camera, a very fine camera indeed. So, his first one is of his barbecue set.
I think your use of the term barbecue in some cultures could be considered pejorative. I think.
Is it? I don't know.
Well, it's very definitely referred to several times in Billy's note as the cookout.
Oh,
And-
okay. Oops.
Okay.
Whatever.
No, I
Billy,
don't know.
barbecue.
I don't know how precious Billy may or may not be about the correct terminology for outdoor cooking. But just checking. Just wouldn't want you to make some kind of cultural gaffe, Graham.
Heaven forbid.
Where would you say cookout? Where's that from?
That's a really good question. Would that be maybe in Australia? No, because they say Barbie, don't they? Maybe it's in America. Maybe it's in the Americas.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
I don't. I could almost say in South Africa, but the Afrikaans, I believe, is braai, and so I think a lot of people from South Africa would refer to that as a braai. But
Nice barbecue. It's a nice machine, though, isn't it? Well, not machine. I mean, barbecue thing. What do you call that?
got a set of tools. It's like in a case. It's that's proper dedication. That is, yeah.
That's thorough. Yeah, nice. It's a bit like a spaceship as well, or a little robot.
Yeah. A small fiery robot called Cookout.
A good summer's evening and a barbecue that can be one of the best unwinds. Just sitting out there, as long as somebody else is doing the cooking.
It's definitely definitely get that. I was just about to jump in with that, but you got there before me.
And there's beer there. He's got there needs to be booze, and there needs to be somebody else doing the cooking, which in this case is Billy. I think he's got it nailed. That's a good unwind. Although as a vegetarian, it's always slightly stressful because you're like, have you cooked my vegetarian burgers on the same place you cooked all your gross meaty burgers? And are they all now, these are the stresses we have, right, Claire?
But you
Barbecued
can have a separate barbecue cookout, whatever you call it, or a separate grill, can't you?
Yeah, should do. There was a Sinead, my partner's summer barbecue recently. They had somebody there doing a cookout. They were doing, I don't know, they've got some caterers in to do that, and Sinead's boss asked them if they would mind cooking. They supplied all the food now for the cookout thing, and so would you mind just chucking some of these veggie burgers on the grill as well, please? Just because we've got vegetarians. Like, no. We will not have veggie burgers on our grill. Wow.
Really?
Wow. And it makes sense the other way around, but yeah. Okay. What's the next one up from Billy, John?
It's Billy's next one is called Damn Fisherman.
Damn Fisherman. Gotta love a good play on words.
Yes.
I didn't see those fellas before.
Oh, I didn't. Got them at the end.
Yeah.
So this is a popular place, I'm taking it, in Billy's locality that people fish, is it? No.
Reading the notes, sort of, yes, I think so. Notice these two gentlemen fishing where the water exits the power station. Okay, so it looks like a big dam. Water exiting the power station, and there are two chaps fishing on off the edge of the walkway or the embankment beside it. So nice. Fishing is definitely a good way to unwind. Is it still the most popular sport in the UK? It always used to be historically.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. It's one of those ones that when I first learned that many years ago, it was like, really? Just exactly like how you just said it, Tina.
Cribbins.
Yeah.
Have you ever fished, Ade?
Do you know what? I think once when I was a kid on a holiday, I got taken to a salmon farm or something like that. But I didn't catch anything. So other than that, I guess does crabbing count? You know, when you get like the orange string and you put it over the side of the dock in a fishing town when you're in Devon on holiday or something like that.
Yes, that counts.
Does it count? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, I've been fishing too in that case.
But no, I other than that, no, it's not something that I've ever really experienced. But there you go. Maybe it's good for unwinding.
I have been fishing once when I was a kid. We went sea fishing out from Conway up in North Wales, and so we're out on this boat, and you have these fishing lines with multiple hooks on them, and basically once they found the fish, you're kind of putting these fishing lines in, and then more or less straight pulling them straight back out again. They've got like 4 fish on you, just constantly doing this, pulling more and more fish out. That wasn't relaxing at all. It was very nice. You're just pulling up fish after fish after fish, and then you end up with loads of fish.
Do you not eat fish?
I do.
Even when you were a kid.
No, I did. Well, actually, I'm not sure if I ever ate any of those fish. I don't like fish very much. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's a traumatic incident.
Okay, so this photo at least is not doing it for you, right? You'd be worried with the cookout. You'd be worried that there was like meat juice on it, and then with the fish, it would just be stressful.
I'll take the cookout over the fishing.
Okay.
The fishing, I would be so bored. I mean, I believe that people can unwind, but I'd sooner just go to sleep. It just seems like fishing is an excuse to go somewhere and go to sleep by the side of a river. I don't know why you need a stick to do that. I'm just not entirely sure what the stick and the piece of string is for. But
is that like not needing a stick to and a little white ball to go for a walk? Is that sort of thing as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
Alrighty.
Okay, next up.
Who's next?
Oh, popular. A long-running cheap shots camera with a new owner.
That's yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Indeed, yes. So, well, I should maybe talk about this one because this is from Bill 2, and he's using the Pentax Auto 110, which used to be one of my cameras until my camera diaspora, and one of them made its way to the far-flung shores of Australia. Well, far-flung from here anyway. For Bill, it's probably quite local, but it reminds me of a Tommy Cooper joke. Right? Who remembers Tommy Cooper?
Oh, Craig.
No, he just used it. So it's this Tommy Cooper joke, right? And he says, he picks up the phone and he rings out. He says, "Hello, is that the local swimming bath?" And the response says, "I don't know. It depends on where you live."
Oh God. He's here all week, folks.
Oh God, I love Tommy Cooper.
Tommy Cooper was great, wasn't he? Wasn't he great?
Yeah, he was
great.
He was. Oh.
There's a reference for all of our young listeners and foreign listeners.
So this is what YouTube is for. So, if you don't remember who Tommy Cooper was, actually, even if you do remember who Tommy Cooper was, go look him up on YouTube anyway. Fantastic.
Look at Spoon Jar Jar Spoon.
Spoon Jar Jar.
That's my favourite.
I have a vague memory of that. I'm going to actually have to do that because I don't remember it properly. But something you've just said there triggered a memory, and I need to go look it up now. I'll be back in 10.
Oh dear.
Sorry, should we talk about Bill's photo? Sorry, Bill.
Who was 100? Has someone turned 100 in Bill's family?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah! Wow. Yeah, birthday balloons turning 100.
So I think it was a combined households scored 100. So yeah, I think it was the joints together. I don't think Bill has turned 100. If he has, he's looking very good on it.
It looks amazing. I thought maybe, I don't know, a relative had or something.
It looks very desaturated. What kind of film is it?
It just says, actually doesn't say what it just says 110 film, which is kind of
Well,
obvious given the camera. But
It's probably Lomography Tiger, right? Because that's the one good thing about 110 film is that
no,
there's
the
not a
Tiger
broad
is
swing.
really saturated and quite warm, quite orangey in color. When I used to shoot this camera, it was because the Tiger was at that time, Tiger was pretty much the only film you could get. So. And I remember it distinctly being really vibrant colors and quite warm. So I'm guessing this is not that. Maybe it's something expired. That could be why it's desaturated.
Yeah, there's not a lot of choice. Not a lot of choice. It can't be that expired because 110 film does not hold up at all when it's expired.
Really?
These negs are so tiny. Well, they're such small negs. I made the mistake. I've talked about this before. Of I bought a 110 camera and it still had some film in it from the early 80s. And I thought, well, this would be perfect for recording Christmas on when my children are really small. It wasn't a good idea. Really wasn't. That was they were pretty gnarly images from that. They had degraded spectacularly.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The film is Metropolis by the looks of it. It's in the file name.
Metropolis, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Metropolis.
Okay.
Didn't know they did Metropolis
Never
on
heard of
110.
that. Is that a Lomo film?
Yeah, I think it came out
Yes.
last year.
Okay.
No, that kind of makes sense now. Actually, now you say that, I hadn't thought to look at the file name. That's crazy thinking, John. What
It would
possessed
be
you?
that organised. Only 100-year-old Bill 2 would put the file.
That's it. When you live that long, you gain that kind of wisdom.
That's experience, that is, isn't it?
It does look a lot like Bleach Bypass, though. It does look like that a lot, which is interesting. So I'm thinking maybe I'll have a go with that.
Yeah, it's got an interesting look to it, and you don't. A lot of people have, or a lot of the examples I've seen of it have been people out doing sort of street work and stuff like that with it because of that kind of look. But yeah, I mean, it's quite fun seeing it applied to stuff where you think it fundamentally normally wouldn't be used for trying to capture colourful stuff.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna have a play.
Yeah. And then the next one is it a microphone?
Looks like it.
2 cameras. It's
Cameras
2
and a stiff
two
drink.
TLRs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cameras.
Oh, TLRs, right. Sorry, I thought it looked like it was a microphone in the cradle, but it's actually a TLR. Yes, okay, I can make sense of it now. It's contrasting.
It's a little. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna say it's a little underexposed. That's
no, just crunchy
Bold
blacks is
statement.
what it is. No, crunchy blacks as a creative
blacks.
choice.
in the
Crunchy
same
blacks
way
is
that chewing on gravel would be quite crunchy. It's moody.
I like it. I like the moodiness.
Yeah, there's just a little bit too much mood in there for me, and I can't see what it is. I like the bottle of wine at the back, or the bottle of whatever that is.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
that's
looks
whiskey.
Probably.
That's whiskey.
It's got to be whiskey,
Wow,
surely.
I'm a little bit concerned about your very definitive. But that's whiskey. Yeah.
Do you know what? Actually, do you know what though? That speaks Unwind to me. Actually, a bottle of whiskey and some cameras to play with, definitely.
Slowly blacking out. Yeah.
And with some crunchy blacks, yeah.
Okay.
I like this one. I like that
I
one.
like the lighting. See, that's
Yes.
perfect mood for me, Graeme.
See, for me, that is what that
Perfect
it
mood
is the
for me. I like that kind of the lighting, the atmosphere. It's too moody for you. It's enough for me.
Yeah, it's got the right amount of darkness for you, Claire.
Yeah, the right.
Yeah. That's fair
Like
enough. I'm happy to be wrong.
It's like an advert from an old 1970s magazine.
Yeah.
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 It does, yeah.
Some sort of men's lifestyle magazine. You know,
I mean,
it's
again,
just
as
like whiskey
adverts go-
and cameras for the 70s man in a knitted roll top jumper.
As adverts go, I do feel like the fact that you can't make out what's in the picture will diminish its potential of selling you something. But unless the advert is for darkness, are you sick of the light? Try new darkness.
It's an advert for blackout blinds.
barely enough light left to find your whiskey. I like
Okay.
this. I like this photo a lot.
Mm.
All right. Well, should we move
Very
on to the
good.
next one?
Who's
So
next?
I can
Yep.
actually see what's happening. Okay, this is from Keith Durkin. Very different.
Liking this one.
Mm.
Liking this
They're
one.
at high,
Very different.
yeah, from above. Mm.
Uh,
Where's the set? Where's this picture set? Do we know?
Oh God! Somebody who isn't me read it. It's at the bottom of the
Belgium,
paragraph.
by the looks of it.
Sorry?
Oh no, hang on.
Quartieri
No, sorry.
Spagnoli.
We visited family in Naples and also spent a week
Naples,
on the
lovely.
island of Ischia in the Bay of Naples.
Yeah.
Both images were taken on that trip. So the first is an image looking down on the streets of the Quartieri Spagnoli in Naples. So this is from the old
Naples,
town
yeah.
of Naples.
Mm.
And he's looking down at a brick paved narrow street with a person on a motor scooter going by, and you're looking sort of top down on them. But what is really great is the sun is really low, so the shadow of the person going by is big and well formed, and yeah, adds a lot of to the image. I like this a lot. For some reason, it reminds me, you know, that really famous Cartier-Bresson photo with the spiral staircase and the bloke cycling by at the bottom.
I know. Yeah.
When I first saw this, I just thought of that, and I know it's like there's no stairs in it. It's a motorbike, not a motor scooter, rather than a cyclist. He's going the wrong way. It's just like, I'm pretty sure in the Cartier-Bresson photo, the cyclist is going the other way, but it still reminded me of that because it's a sliver of light and a two-wheeled conveyance, going through the sliver of light, and so yeah, I like this a lot.
I think this is a great picture. I think the timing on it is absolutely spot on to give a really great graphic image with the shadow and the light. I think it
certainly is
just worked really, really well, and nice texture of the paving at the bottom there. And yeah, I mean, I think the only thing, no, I'm not going to say it spoils it, and obviously there was literally nothing that could be done about it, but you've got this washing line running across it, which kind of I wish that wasn't there.
Notice. Do you know what? Only that you've pointed it out now, I didn't notice that. Strange.
Yeah. Well, sorry I've ruined that picture for you now.
No,
You're welcome.
It doesn't ruin it for me.
I like the washing line.
There's always
line. Yeah.
It's
because it's catching the light. It's showing that there's lots of different lights coming from different directions. And I have been to Naples, and you get these tiny alleyways that are really tall buildings, and so light doesn't always go all the way to the ground. A lot of the time it doesn't. So I really like that. It gives it layers and.
It'd be amazing if there was something hanging off that washing line in that dark area, just like a sheet or something, just catching the light of it.
It's a very calming photo as well in terms of unwinding, because it is just a single person in a space. So the space itself may be small, but there is room to move. Because my own experience is something like this. I remember being in Kathmandu in an alleyway that was about 4 feet wide, and suddenly half a dozen mopeds came along and rammed all the people out of the way, and we had to dive. And of course, it's all dusty and hot and stuff like that as well. And so this seems almost civilized compared to that. But
it amazes me there isn't any motion blur on that motorcyclist, actually. Because you'd think that they'd be ragging it around the streets.
Oh, do you think it was posed? So I remember once being in Florence, and on the evening, like a Friday night or a Saturday night in Florence, and all the Italian guys, they come out in their Ferraris and stuff like that and drive around the old town at about 3.5 miles an hour if they're lucky, because the roads are so bumpy, the Ferraris can barely drive along them, and the alleyways are so narrow and stuff like that. But they still like to get their cars out and come out, and why not? If you've got a Ferrari, why not come and show off?
Yeah. The second picture of Keith, I think, is equally kind of striking. I love this picture because to me it almost feels like it's a Photoshop. I know it's not. I know it's a real place, but it's so bonkers that it looks to me like a photo, because it feels like it's very traditional kind of seaside scene with the deck chairs and people under the parasols and all the boats in the distance on the sea, and then you've just got this blooming massive rock and fortress built that just feels like it's been plonked there through CGI or something. very cool. I really like that.
It's the Italian version of Tenby, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to go with Guernsey, actually. I'm sure I've got a shot that looks a bit similar to this, of St. Peter Port, which is, I think, the capital of Guernsey, because there's a sort of the bay comes round and the castle is on at the end of the bay, at the end of the promontory, or whatever it's called. Maybe fewer in Guernsey, maybe fewer deck chairs, but hey.
What do you think? What do you think of this one, Tina?
Oh, I think it just makes me think of Italy. I know that's obviously it is Italy, but there's something about the way that Italians do sitting on the beach, or almost everything, it seems to me. They do it all with a lot of style, and it just looks. You feel special when you're sitting on an Italian beach, or that's my experience of it, because the deck chairs and the parasols and the boats, the little boats out in the bay. I can basically smell the sea and feel the sun. I every time I've ever been to Italy, I would just always think it's hugely civilized compared to what I'm used to. I do. I just feel special when I'm in places like that. I feel like Gina Lollobrigida or somebody like that. But I love this big. What is that rock? Where is it again? Did you say it was Sicily?
It's the island of Ischia in the Bay of Naples.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and the castle is the Aragonese castle, it says.
I bet it's really old, but there's been stuff on there for you.
You know what? I'll bet it's really old too. I bet it's not one of them newfangled castles they built there.
But I bet there's bits of Roman stuff, bits of Greek stuff, bits of Norman
could very
stuff,
well be,
bits of Arab stuff. Have you ever been to
bits
Syracuse?
of Norman stuff in Italy? They got around. They did.
No, they did. The Normans were in. You've not been reading your
It's the
guidebook.
Crusades, Graeme. Come on.
I haven't been to Naples. No.
I know that on Sicily they definitely do. There's Norman architecture on Sicily. There's in the cathedral in Syracuse has got Doric columns in it that were made of stuff that was brought over from Egypt. It's nuts, those places.
Yeah, it's a lot of this bit of a cultural melting pot, as they say.
Yeah, which I always get very excited about. So I'll shut up now.
Oh dear. Okay, what's up next?
Oh, I got the Zoom working at last then.
Okay, right. Next one up is from Jonathan Becker. I think this one, actually, as Jonathan himself says, this one is all about the light. So we have trees over water. Light rays coming through the leaves. Yeah, it looks very idyllic and relaxing. And it says yes,
infrared film.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to read a little bit from Jonathan Stock. As it says, yes, IR photography came into my mind. I had absolutely no experience with IR photography, so of course the best idea was to shoot my first roll of IR film in my worst camera with no previous testing. Well, I tell you what, it's worked. It's come out a treat. So the camera, I think, is something I've never heard of, called a Puva Start.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
It's a very, very. It's a camera with the functionality. It's an old camera, but it basically has the functionality of something like a Holga. It's like a box camera, except it doesn't look like a box. And yeah, as we were looking at the picture earlier that Jonathan sent us, he just used gaffer tape to fix the filter on the front. Because the thing with IR film is that because it's sensitive to stuff, like you have to be really careful about loading and unloading it and developing it and setting. There's so many things. There you go. John's put up a picture of the Puva Start with Jonathan's fantastic mod on it. The fact that he got such good results in a camera that
looks like it's been sitting out in the sun for too long.
Yes, exactly.
It looks a bit sort of organic in its shape, like it's got a bit warm in places and slightly melted.
Yeah, I think it's lovely. Again, just another one of these things that I was saying earlier about with the box cameras. It's another one of these really, really dirt cheap medium format cameras that you can actually have a lot of fun with. And like the Holga gets all the publicity and all the press, but there's loads of cameras quite like the Holga in terms of being, I don't know, cheap and a bit crap. That also fun to play with. You should try those. I really
How
like
do you
both of
spell
these.
this? How do you spell it? Pover. Pover.
Pouva.
Pou.
With infrared film, do you have to use a filter?
No, you don't have to, but you just won't get any of the
It's the effect you're after, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you don't use a filter, you'll just get the full spectrum of light come through with it. So you'll just kind of get the. But it's when you use the filter, it's chopping out a load of stuff. So because like I've used, not that it's a true infrared film, but I've used the Ilford SFX before now.
Yeah.
And if you use that without a filter, then it looks a lot like HP5, frankly. You know,
or with a plain red. I think I didn't have a special IR filter when I used that, and that's only marginally IR sensitive, isn't it? The SFX, but I used just a standard red filter, and that helped draw out some of the effect of the film. But as you say, guys, it's not quite a true IR film, that is it?
No, I think the results he's got from this are fantastic, though.
Yeah.
Is this a true IR film? I've never used IR film.
I think it is.
He says it is.
I think, yeah.
It's the film
one
I went
you
with,
were talking about.
Rolly infrared.
Oh, right. Probably is. So I don't really know much about infrared. So it makes green go light. Is that what
it can do? Yeah. I mean, that seems to be one of the popular go-to tricks with it, is to make foliage be very, very white.
Okay.
But
I think that's more to do with the way that light reflects off it. I think, isn't it? Because it's the color green is in the wrong part of the spectrum. So I think it's to do with the way that light reflects. You know how when you're taking photographs of trees in the sunshine, and if you put a polarizer on, you get a really good green. But if you don't have a polarizer on, you often get almost white leaves, not white, but sort of reflect, because the leaves are shiny and they're reflecting in a certain way and stuff like that. So if you want really good greens, when on a good sunny day, put a polarizer on your lens to kill out the reflections a little bit. And so I think it's less about the color green and more about the way the leaves reflect the light. But I'm not an expert on that. So I think that's how it works. And the second image is also awesome. A very light coloured tree in a clearing.
That's lovely.
And Graeme, did I catch that you pronounced it Jonathan rather than Jonathan?
Yeah, because he's German. Yeah.
Okay. Apologies, Jonathan.
Is Tommy Cooper's back again?
What?
You said, never mind. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, did I say it wong again? Apologies. Did it come across wrong? Apologies, Jonathan. I'm sorry. Try and
It's got
get
very good detail, hasn't it? It's very good detail.
Yeah, it has. It
does.
It's nice. He's managed to use that camera in a variety of equally unlikely ways over the cheap shot challenges, and there's got some consistently great results from it. From a camera that you look at and think, this shouldn't be this good, but he has managed to make it do things it was never built to do. And yeah, I'm really impressed with these. The effect he's got from this and just the general pictures, I really like it. Nice vignetting around the lens there. It really suits the pictures nicely, and the processing. Then I really like those two. On to our last two, and it's a bit of color to finish up. That's very exciting. From John Michael Mendiza. Two very lovely pictures here. Nice and colourful. So go on, Ade, tell us about these.
So the first one is taken in sunset. I'm going to say, when's the rises in the east, sets in the west? There might be a sunrise actually. I don't know. Anyway, it is a shot of Venice, and it's either a sunrise or a sunset. But the light is and the color in it is quite purpley. So sunrise, it says in the notes. Thank you. I thought so. I was thinking I've stood on that bridge or wherever it is that he stood, and I'm pretty sure that's looking east, and so that must be a sunrise, and it is. So that's really cool, and it's fantastic shot. It's really interesting to me because you see so many shots of Venice, and this one looks different from those. It's not your typical picture postcard shot of Venice, and I think it's more interesting. Because of that. So apparently I think some of that look is going to come from the film. It says I loaded a roll of expired Kodak EB2 slide film.
EB2.
EB2.
Wow.
I've never even heard of that. He said it was planning to have it processed in C41, so cross processed, but in the end went ahead and had it done in E6. So it's been processed in normal slide chemistry, but clearly the expired film has had some impact on the colours in it, and it comes out really nicely. I like that a lot. I like that. I think, as annoying as it might be for people who don't like to get up early, I do think the light at sunrise and the general atmospheric conditions at sunrise are somewhat better than at sunset. I'm really finding that at the moment. I love this time of year, right? So this time in the autumn and also the corresponding time in the spring, where I can get up at my normal time, just go out in the back garden and get some really nice sunrise photos, because the sunrise is at the right time. It's not too late, it's not too early. And I'm not one of these people who's going to get up at 3 o'clock to go chasing a sunrise at 4:15, because that's just not who I am in any way, shape or form. But getting up at a leisurely 7 o'clock, stepping out into the back garden and taking a photo of the sunrise, now that I can do.
Not me.
Well, you're still up playing computer games at that time of day, aren't you?
Even I've by that point, even I've managed to make it to bed.
Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, so I'm loving this shot of Venice. It's something slightly different and very effective for it.
I love the picture in general. I think it's a really nice picture, and the colours and tones are lovely. I particularly like, there's just, I don't know whether it's a window or what it is, just on the right hand side, that the sun has just picked out that little bit of brightness there. I really like that. Just a little bit of something. Can't see on this because it's too small, but I think it's just a really nice picture. It's a very relaxing picture to look at. Let's face it, very soothing.
It is. It could be. I don't think some of it's glass. I think some of it might be ceramics. So it's the light bouncing off some sort of reflective surface that's on the wall of that building there. So really good.
And often Venice is very, very busy, isn't it? There's usually loads of people about, and it's nice. It's not busy. Not teeming.
I think I've been a couple of times. I don't think I've ever been like in the height of the season though. I've always been sort of slightly earlier in the year. I think somebody told me once it gets super busy, super hot and really smelly in the summer. I probably won't bother then. I'll go in the winter instead. It'd be nicer.
I've been in May and September. It was very busy both times.
Okay. And then last but not least, the last shot, that's what I meant to say, in our Cheap Shots show. Another one from John Michael, and this one is of a beach scene, rocks at the beach. Another short trip we took in September to the island of Rügen on the north coast of Germany.
Oh, wow.
In the photo, you can see my wife unwinding on a rock.
Yes.
Watching the seagulls.
Yes.
And waiting for me to finish fussing with my pinhole camera. Oh yeah, we've all been there, mate. We've all been there. It is yes. It's one of those ones that you don't see her at first, and then you sort of spot and go, "Oh right, yeah, cool."
Yeah, nice seaside picture.
Indeed. Well, there we go. That's all of them, I think. Is it then, Graeme?
That is, unless I've missed some. If I have missed some, apologies. Send me an email and complain at me. But I really did look hard, so I don't think I have. But I have missed them in the past. So hopefully I didn't this time. So that's the easy bit done, Tina. Now, before we started going through them, you said you had a favourite. You had a winner in mind. Has going through them again, looking at them again, has that changed your feelings at all? Has it?
I'm just having another look.
Doing a drum roll.
Egg roll. So, do you have like a 3, 2, 1, Tina, or do you just have a number 1? How are you going to do this?
Or just some generally good ones you want to call out if you don't, if that's what you're more comfortable with.
No, you have to pick a winner. Don't be a winner, Aid. What is this? Jesus. Everyone gets a prize nonsense.
Well, obviously not everybody.
Well, I've got the one that I thought that was most visually striking is the picture by Keith Durkin of the guy on the motorbike, because of the unusual angle. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it, and also because all the different kinds of lights in it. And I think that's something that I've seen in photographs that I've taken when I thought I've taken it for one particular reason. And then I've realized when I've got it back, oh, actually, no, there's this and there's that and there's this going on, and that informs other things. And I think that this is a great picture in terms of being a picture that gives you ideas about other pictures you might want to take.
Yeah.
But, and the other ones that I particularly liked, I mean, I liked a lot of them. In fact, I like all of them. But the one I particularly liked, just purely and simply because I just wasn't aware of it, was the Metropolis ones, because there's two people who've used Metropolis. There's Bill Too, and who I know on Twitter. And then there's that last seascape picture as well with the Metropolis. And I thought that really muted colour was really interesting. And so I wasn't just thinking about the pictures, I was thinking more about the actual films and things, because I'm not familiar with them. So those were particular favourites of mine from this selection.
But the winner is Tina. Come on.
Oh, I have to have a winner.
You have to have a winner. Well, no, you don't.
You could have a joint.
But you have to have a full list of losers, but you have to exclude one person.
There's a long. What it is, Tina, is that there is a long-standing tradition with the Cheap Shots Challenge that Graeme pretends that he will send something to the winner and then never ever does, and that is our long-standing tradition.
They always get it. Eventually, John Michael Mendiza has got his camera. He got his camera. Now, admittedly, it may have taken a few months, but he got his camera. So yeah.
All right then. I want you to send a picture not to Alex Purcell, but to his daughter. I want you to send the camera to Alex Purcell's daughter, and that's my winner. Because I just love that joy. I love that joyousness because I remember being on the swing.
Well
excellent.
Done, Alex.
Well done.
Yeah. A very worthy winner. I mean, I as you said, there are a lot of really good pictures and a lot of very different pictures there, but it's a very worthy winner because it manages that dual thing of being, oh yeah, here's a time when we were unwinding, but also this is a visual pun, and we have to reward puns, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, John.
Yes.
I suppose we should move on now. Now that we've got the fun bit out of the way, we should now move on to the brutal bit where we realise how badly we've all done.
That's different, isn't it? Let's pretend that didn't happen.
Video glitch.
Video glitch. That's what they call John. To the hosts' pictures. Now, as mentioned, we did less well than arguably the listeners did, but that's pretty much par for the course. Now, John, I don't know what order have you put these pictures on in, John?
Let's start with Ade. Let's get
Start
there.
with
Okay.
Ade. Start
Okay.
with the most
right.
recently shot.
So yeah, okay. Well, my first one here then explain this. So this is a time. This reflects a little bit unwinding to me. This is shot from the driver's seat of my car, waiting outside a place where my children have one of their after-school activities. And often at the moment, in a weekday at least, that is the first chance I get in the day to unwind, is when I manage to get away from my desk and the video calls and slump in the driver's seat. Try to so very deliberately focusing on the raindrops on the windscreen rather than the scene behind it on this one. You know, that's that, you know, in an attempt to say this is my view from here. So this is about, you know, the experience of unwinding, you know, from what I can see when I'm sat there in those situations. So that's the first one. The second one,
the next one gets stretched into a reasonable answer.
The second one, I have to say, is more of a conceptual piece.
Yeah.
It's a blackout blind advert.
Well, no. So there is thought behind this, right? So again, this funnily enough, again, sat in a car. This time in the dark, and what I was aiming for was to track light trails. So using my camera to take photographs of light trails of cars or vehicles as they go past. I was only partially successful. I mean, I can hold some up to the camera here that I don't know if that's something that's gonna put the cat among the pigeons in the production crew, I'm sure. But there are 3 or 4 or 5 that that have variously come out with as black with little streaks of light on. So this is, as I say, a conceptual piece, very definitely something I worked for, something that I abjectly failed, and I will be the first to acknowledge that I've completely failed with this concept of mine.
Oh no, come on, be fair, Ade. I think given half a chance, I would be in there first to say you failed. So maybe you'd be the second to say you failed after I've stepped in to say you failed.
So I have a small handful now of
shit, I think is the word you're reaching for.
I was going to go with
sorry,
abstract conceptual pieces that maybe are works in progress.
Okay, yeah. That's another take on that.
Anyway, the point being, sat in the driver's seat of the car while my kids run off and do something is part of what unwinding means to me at the moment.
That's possible. That might be one of the saddest things I've heard in a while.
Well,
sitting in the car in the rain is unwinding.
You take your chances where you can get them when you've got kids to ferry around.
True that. Right, who's up next, John? Who's going to explain themselves next?
Oh, it's me. Oh dear.
Say it with confidence, John. Oh no,
it's my turn. So a bit of backstory. Obviously, months ago when I first started this project, I got my cheap shots camera out, my Helena, and I put a roll of film in it and realized it wasn't actually taking up the film. It was just the motor was spinning, but the uptake spool wasn't turning with it. So I had to come up with a backup plan. The good news is I now need a new cheap shots camera. This is a feature of Cheap Shots Challenge, John. The cameras, by the very nature of the constraints of the rules, are not going to last forever. Apart from the fugly, which Graeme had to give away in the end.
Yeah, indestructible.
So the hunt is on for a new camera, which is quite exciting, I guess. But my backup plan was I used a disposable camera with Ilford XP2 in it, which is the other cheap camera I had in the house. And this is what I took. The first image is of 2 chairs in our garden that we sit in to unwind in the evening as the sun sets over them.
Nice. Is that the famous dark shed behind the?
That is indeed the dark shed.
Yes, I look at that and I think, oh look, there's seats where 2 old people sat in before they died. That's what I see when I look at that. That's where a lovely elderly couple sat in and then they died. Now those are dead people's seats. That's nice.
It's funny you should say that because those chairs were here when we moved in.
They're probably haunted.
They're always warm for some reason. Whenever
Oh
you see
no.
them. It's very odd. Next was on similar theme to Ade. My only chance to unwind is when I sit on the sofa in the evening these days after a.
Do you know what? I
hard,
love this shot. I saw this earlier before we hit record, and I love this shot. Your pajama trousers. I don't know if they are pajama trousers, but
They are
or
pajamas,
whether they're
yeah.
just like a large check in a manly kind of outdoors lumberjack fashion. But your pajama trousers and woolly socks look great on the sofa, and and I was like, yeah, definitely, yeah, nice comfy sofa,
Unwinding for me.
unwinding, yeah,
That's it. Feet up.
definitely.
I thought you'd taken a picture of a homeless man's legs sticking out from underneath some bin bags. That's what I thought. I was like, you shouldn't be taking people on the streets.
Oh dear.
Oh, great.
I think I prefer my interpretation.
Hey, go on, Joe.
And
What else you got?
on a similar theme, I moved further up my body to get my face.
Oh no! See, now I'm with
Which
Graeme.
nobody
'cause
needs to see.
now I'm with Graeme because that's like a Ouija shot, right? that's not unwinding. That's a crime scene. That is.
Yeah. Oh, this guy was
Isn't it?
shot. Draw like
It's incredibly
chalk outline
difficult.
around.
I really wanted to kind of get the photo without my arm in, and it's really hard to kind of take a selfie without it look like you're holding the camera as well, isn't it? And obviously that camera
Dead
doesn't have a
people can't do
timeline.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ouija famously held his own camera.
So anyway, swiftly moving on to the next one, which was when I saw this unfold in front of me, which my daughter put her rabbit toy on this little shelf. I just feel like that a lot of the time when I'm unwinding, just slumps on a shelf, just exhausted, got no energy to do anything. And
What was that film that had? Was it Glenn Close and Michael Douglas?
Attraction.
Yeah, boarding the rabbits. Yeah.
Attraction.
Yes.
Mm.
John is like a boiled rabbit.
So there we go.
Not a slightly haunting scene, John.
I have to say, John, I'm loving the Ouija aesthetic on the two shots of it. It's fantastic. Brilliant.
Composite of a homeless man. Composite of a dead homeless person. Oh,
There we
good.
go.
Okay.
No,
Next
in
one.
all seriousness, though, to one of your legs on the sofa, John, absolutely spot on. That definitely said unwind to me. Brilliant. I love that. For the moment I saw it, I loved it. I mean, Graeme spoiled it now, but
That's what I'm here for. I'm going to win by bringing everybody else down.
Right, well, you're next then, Graeme. Right, I'm picking you.
No.
Let's see what you've done.
Okay, well, I mean, my first one is a very obvious one. That's obviously out having a breakfast. We went out for breakfast and just a picture of Sinead having a cup of tea, because that's how else does one unwind but with a cup of tea? I mean, I'm sure there are other ways, but I can't think of a good one. So yeah, and that was nice because we actually it's one of those rare moments we got to go away and have breakfast out together. So that was very nice. So yeah, just Sinead drinking a cup of tea and enjoying it because tea. This is multiple levels of unwind. So this is my son, Elliot, my youngest son. He is unwinding on the sofa playing video games, which is absolutely how my boys both unwind. Next to him, you can see my cat, who, if he got any more unwound, he would probably just be a pool of fur on the floor because he's just absolutely slouched. But also, this is how I unwind. Like when I have my boys up, that is when I unwind, because it's great because it means that I'm not at work for a few weeks. So having them there is like, oh yeah, this is my unwind time as well. So yeah, that's why that one is my very much an unwinding picture on all the levels of unwinding. Okay, next up, John, what we got? Oh, look at these two.
Hold on.
Here's a
What
couple. Here's a couple of randos. This is John and Claire unwinding on John's massive sofa. Here you can see Claire's favoured method of unwinding, which is with a can of booze.
It's Red Bull, isn't it?
Is it Red Bull? No,
it's not. It's a soft drink.
that seems unlikely. You were mostly speaking bottles of wine that night.
No.
And John looking outraged at whatever Claire's doing. Or I'm not sure what that expression is, John.
That
It's
is a good
something.
look, isn't it? What's going on there?
I had other pictures where you didn't look quite so silly, but I chose to ignore those.
Thanks.
John was actually feeling very poorly when this was taken, hence the blanket, hence the nano
Thanks.
blanket. But yeah, this was my two dear friends unwinding pre-photography show. This was the night before the photography show
Oh my
when
goodness.
John was
I have to say,
suffering awfully.
Claire, you look somewhat disappointed in this photo. It's like,
I can't remember what was going on.
yeah, definitely some disappointment in that look.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It's because she only had 2 bottles of wine, I think, is the disappointment. And
Hold on,
no
what,
Red Bull.
what camera were you using for this, Graham?
Okay, so
Have we got a
I've
brief?
just remembered what camera you had with
oh,
you.
no, listen. Okay, so I got rid of my cheap shots camera, so I needed to get a camera. Now I'm going to show you my camera. Now this is, people will mistake this because I thought, so this, can you see this? I can't see whether this is in the picture or not.
Well, that really well built SLR.
That's it.
So people might look at this and go, hang on, that looks like a Fuji ST605, the first film camera that Graeme ever bought. It isn't. They might also look at it and go, hang on, that looks like the Fuji ST605 that Graham's mum gave him that he shot his myopic me thing on. It isn't. This is my third Fuji ST605 that I bought mostly because I wanted the case that it was in, because I'd lost the case from my other camera. It cost me £7. The lens is a bit broken. The light meter doesn't work, but I really love these cameras. So, it goes all the way up to 1/700th of a second, the oddest top shutter speed possible.
1/700th.
So yeah, it's great. New cheap shots challenge camera. I'm going to do this. Actually, I'm going to rope John into doing this. Seeing as John now needs to get a new cheap shots camera. I wanted to record a podcast about the process of choosing a cheap shots camera, and the lovely people over at I Dream of Cameras recorded something for me ages ago. So we'll do that soon. We'll sit down and we'll record something about the process of getting, and maybe you might want to as well, Claire, because you're technically sort of between cameras as well, aren't you? So we'll get that done soon. But yeah, that £7.
Okay, so that
Good.
certainly qualifies as a
It's
cheap
great.
camera. Yes,
Exactly. And also the difference between that and my previous cheap shots camera is I like that camera. I don't want to use that camera, whereas I kind of hated the fugly. So there you go. I think there's one more picture, isn't John? Roll the last picture. Oh, that's
Look at that.
Smooth.
Oh, hold on. I can't see it. Oh, that, yeah.
There you go. It's John unwinding. That's the day after the photography show. John Cool, as he's known.
Do you know what? Right? Do you know what that reminds me of? I've got a photo of me, which Graham, I think you took, and it's me leaning up against a wall in Oxford.
Yeah, I've
Just
got a lot of
in
very
almost
slouchy
exactly the same pose, just chilling out in the sunshine. It
Yeah.
was you that took that shot, wasn't it?
friends.
Yeah.
It is indeed, yes.
A few
like I
years
said,
ago now, but
lot of very slouchy friends. Yeah, indeed. So there you go. That's my efforts.
Thanks.
Not you're welcome. Thanks for modelling for me, John.
Thanks.
All right, let's get on to the one which I think. Listen, I think we're good. Let's go on to the one that's almost certainly going to win. Here's Claire's reclining. Was it reclining, Claire?
Yeah, this is my reclining.
Go on, tell us about these, Claire.
So this camera that usually Tina, I use the Diana as the cheap shot camera, but this was actually a disposable waterproof camera. Which was and that was €10. So
Bargain.
that qualifies, yeah. And I think I suppose it speaks for itself. So I really love the sea. I've grown up on an island surrounded by sea, so I really love the sea, and I would always miss it. But and I love warm sea. So this was on a holiday, and it's just one of those lovely times and lovely places where the sea is warm and you're just there. And you know that lovely thing? I love to do the starfish on. Do you all like to do the starfish on the sea? what I mean?
You
After
do
I've
look
been
very relaxed.
Yeah,
After a
but
swing, then yeah.
after a
Yeah,
swing,
yeah. I've got all hot and bothered on
Swing
the swing.
into
Yeah.
the sea, jump into the sea. But do you like that? Do you do that, Tina? Where you float on the top of the sea and you just sort of open your arms and legs like a starfish? Do you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was
more than that, just watching my toes.
Yeah. So I like to do that, float on top of the sea, and then when you put, when your head's under the water, your ears are under the water as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and you can just hear your breathing. It's really lovely.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it's one of my favourite things to unwind. And I'm a water sign, so I do like the water. I'm a fish, not scaly. Well, I don't know, maybe certain times of the year, I don't know. But and yeah, and this is again in the sea.
So, Claire, how did you have help with taking
Yes,
it?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
fine. Yeah.
So you took these in the Gregory Crewdson sense, whereas
Yeah.
a crew of people who pressed the button for you, but it was all your directorship.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
was
great.
it?
Good
Where
work.
was it?
It was actually in Greece on the
Ah,
of yeah.
that's
on the
wonderful.
I have to say that one where you're doing the starfish thing, I don't know if it's the video compression or whatever that's coming through, but it doesn't look like you've got any clothes on.
I've got bikini on.
Well,
actually, I have. Yeah.
Hopefully, did you say hopefully or thankfully?
Pardon?
Did you say hopefully or thankfully?
Yeah. Oh, that was lovely. Really nice little beach.
so there you go, Tina. You've seen our offerings now, and now you need to decide out of us lot who took the best picture for this round. Who out of the hosts? I mean, to be honest, I don't feel like this is much of a competition. I won, clearly. But if you want to pause for a little bit before announcing that I've won, just so that the others don't feel like we're robbing them.
Okay, Claire.
I mean,
Hooray!
obviously, well done, Claire. It was the moment I saw that picture, I was like, yeah, god damn it.
The star.
It just looks lovely.
That's my unwind and rewind. Recline.
It definitely does hit it hits the brief, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Portugal for a few days, for about 8 days in September, and it's just so nice to be somewhere
totally
in the water, just in different places, different cafes, hearing different things, eating different food. Oh god, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
It's been a couple of years.
A worthy win, Claire.
Absolutely.
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think that's a great shot. A very well deserved win. And looks good. It just goes to show both you and John, like those little disposable cameras.
Yeah, they're great.
They're you can have some real fun with those. And that's awesome.
Oh, they like the colours. Yeah.
What do you know? What film's inside it, Claire? Is it a Kodak one or a Fuji one or
Kodak? Yeah. I think a lot of them have got. Apparently, I read that they've got a lot of really old film in them. So I should be buying more disposable cameras. Really, buying them up. Yeah.
It's probably cheaper than buying an actual roll of film these days.
Yeah, certainly from Kodak. Tina, thank you so much for being our fantastic judge this evening. Now, we probably should have mentioned this before, but we didn't, because we don't necessarily start it off straight away, but it's always good if our judges can give us a suggestion for what they think that the next round of the Cheap Shots Challenge should be as a theme. Do you have anything that leaps to mind that could be a good topic for the next round?
So it needs to be an activity, yeah?
And it can be anything. It can be anything.
Anything.
Well, I'll tell you what, give it some thought. And you can always, if you haven't got anything straight away, then just let me know.
I will. I'll think of something. Yes.
That'd be good, because our listeners never cease to amaze me in what they, no matter how insane the topic has been, they've always managed to turn up some fairly amazing stuff. So
I have to say I found Unwind really difficult. I mean, it's just the I couldn't get past some real mental blocks that I had with Unwind, like some really literal stuff like a hose pipe or something. It's like I must go and take a picture of a hose pipe. I struggled for ages.
Yeah, I took a few pictures of things that I went out with my brother and his friend on our bikes, and I took some pictures of our bikes. I was like, yeah, I mean that's what I was doing to Unwind, but it really hasn't. It's just some pictures of motorbikes. Nothing is like, this is not doing the job that I wanted to do. Yeah, it wasn't the easiest one, but I think it was a good one. It was a good one.
That. It's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We will hopefully we'll have seamlessly tucked it in earlier. We forgot to mention at the time your video, Tina. If not, we'll stick it at the end, right, John? For people who are watching this on video, we'll seamlessly stitch it in somewhere so people can see a trailer for your fantastic video, which, as Ade mentioned, they can go and see on your website, which is tinarowe.co.uk.
It is indeed, yes.
Or it is on Vimeo, and we'll put the link in the show notes to all these fabulous places.
Yeah.
Other than that, remind us of your Instagram and Twitter feeds, Tina, because they're less easy to guess.
Oh, maybe not my Twitter feed. That's just me swearing about politicians.
It's good.
Yeah, that's the best feed. That's the best Twitter feed on
Angry
Instagram.
Tina.
My Twitter is actually the Tina Simon, because I wasn't always married to Mr. Rowe.
No.
And my Instagram is Tina Rowe. So that's Tina Rowe. You're both.
Absolutely. Yes, and everyone should follow Tina because the stuff is great, and
thank you.
You do such a fascinating range of stuff that even if I don't understand how you've done it, it's always inspiring, and I always kind of I want to know, or actually sometimes I don't want to know. I just want to enjoy it and go, well, I'm just happy that this exists. Both of these things.
Thank you very much.
Are you going to seamlessly wrap it up, Ade?
Oh, just quickly before we go, I've just
No.
got to mention that it's the forget it. It's the Emulsive Santa sign up is ending at the end of the month, and people need to sign up quickly and register for that.
I've signed up.
A quick tip: I had a problem when I filled in my form that when it got to the last page, the Elster link failed. So make sure you kind of copy that link and open it in a new tab or something before you click on it, would be my advice. But yeah, get signing up.
The most wonderful time of the year, allegedly.
Okay, cool.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been
thank you,
Tina.
Always welcome. Always welcome. It's great to be able to speak to you. Great. Thank you for passing judgment on us and our creative efforts. Thank you doubly for not making Graeme the winner. He is insufferable when he wins. Actually, hang on. Have we ever had that happen?
What, me? I've won so many. I mean, basically, I think this is the first one I haven't won. By my recollection, this is the first one that I've not won. Although I would rather nobody ever looked into those facts.
There you go. Living proof, everybody, of alternative universes. Okay, let's try and get out of this podcast then. I'm not going to do it seamlessly because there's no point in promising something I can't deliver, but I'll give it a shot. We have been the Sunny 16 podcast. It has been a joy to share our images and to share your images today, and a privilege indeed. We will play you out now with Rachel's band Roche. You can get their album Promises I Should Have Kept on all good internet places. And go out there and do it because it's cool. There's way more than just the tune we use for topping and tailing our show, as good as that is. And thank you again. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.